This is Mike Corey from ESPN, and you're listening to the Sports Objective Podcast, the unofficial podcast of the Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post, put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. For the flag of the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands.
Welcome into the Sports Objective. We really appreciate you tuning in whenever and however you're watching or listening, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or pretty much anywhere podcasts are found, you can find us. One of the major points of emphasis for Mike Houston and this coaching staff during Crew 22, the 2022 cycle, was certainly adding multiple offensive linemen from the transfer portal. And right now, Kyle and I very excited to be joined by one of those gentlemen. Welcome in Norfolk State transfer, Justin Redd. Justin, we appreciate your time this evening.
Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. So last night we were able to catch up with one of your former teammates, and he's going to obviously be a teammate again with the Pirates, and that is Isaiah Winstead. You guys played together at Norfolk State, but just talk about what led you to East Carolina, and then we'll kind of work backwards and talking about your Norfolk State career. Obviously, Latrell Scott, East Carolina's passing game coordinator, was your head coach there at Norfolk State.
Right. Absolutely. So what led me to East Carolina is at Norfolk State. I just felt like I accomplished everything I could accomplish there. I graduated. I paid my time there. So I graduated. I talked to my family and decided with them I think it was best for my future to enter the transfer portal. So I entered the transfer portal. I got a couple of FCS offers, and then Coach Scott had talked to me through the whole process. Basically, he was consistent. So that's kind of what led me to East Carolina. Then when I came to the visit, it was just like next level. I had never felt wanted like that in my life.
Justin, you were all MEAC, very successful career at Norfolk State. You mentioned having some FCS offers when you got in the portal. Who else was recruiting you? Who else was offering you besides East Carolina?
East Carolina, Buffalo, Toledo, Jackson State, FAMU, Alabama A&M. That's basically it. South Carolina State, Hampton University, of course.
Okay, so interesting. You had Toledo in the portal, where Isaiah's coming from. Buffalo, two good MAC programs, and then you mentioned Jackson State and Deion Sanders. Did you get to talk to Coach Prime any?
I didn't get to talk to Coach Prime, but I talked to his offensive coordinator.
Okay. Well, we're definitely glad you chose East Carolina. Definitely need all the depth on the O-line we can get. What are your expectations coming in here? Obviously, with 1 year of eligibility left, you're expecting to start.
Yes, sir. My expectation is to come in here and compete with my teammates, push each other. We all gonna make each other better.
So what does it mean to you to play at the FBS level? I know Norfolk State FCS program, now having the opportunity to come play at an FBS school and take that step up in competition and play on a bigger stage.
It means everything. Like I said, I had felt like I had accomplished everything at that level. I was an All-American, lineman of the year in my conference. So I just wanted to prove, not to myself because I feel like I'm ready, but to everybody else, that I can play at this level and still dominate.
So, Justin, like Kyle mentioned, very decorated career there with Norfolk State. You were recognized or, received the honor of the MEAC's Offensive Lineman of the Year. So you're, 6'5", and what are you, 315, or where's the weight right now?
I range between about 310, 320.
So just describe yourself as a lineman. Mike Houston, Donnie Kirkpatrick, and this staff. Obviously, there's a tremendous emphasis on running the football and establishing the ground attack.
Yes,
and
sir.
then throwing play action passes and so forth. But they really want to establish a run. So just if you would talk about that and what they said to you in the recruiting process.
Well, they just love my physicality, how I run block. That's my favorite part. Football, run blocking. I like moving because it's hard to move a man willingly off the ball. He's trying not to be moved, and you're moving him. So that really takes a lot to. That shows how good you are, so that you can really consistently move defensive linemen to the second level or off the ball. So they just really liked my physicality. And as far as my game compared to ECU, yeah, it's some new techniques that I got to learn that I didn't use at Norfolk State. But with Coach Shank and Coach Jacoby, with all their coaching and teaching, I think I'll be just fine.
Yeah, you talk about Steve Shankwaller, Coach Shank, as he's known. He's been at East Carolina. I guess this is fourth tenure, and 5 different head coaches that Coach Shank's worked under. But just talk about that relationship that you were able to develop with Coach Shank, and him, you making that decision. He's a guy that you obviously wanted to play for.
Right. I mean, Coach Shank is like a legend to me. I mean, he's like a football guru. So, like I said, he's going to give me more tools to add to the tool bag. So that's just, I mean, I'm just ready to learn and ready to get better every day.
Justin, how familiar were you with East Carolina's football program before committing to be a Pirate?
I was relatively familiar. I knew about East Carolina. I didn't know the area. Like, I didn't know it was in Greenville. But other than that, I knew about East Carolina, though. Like, I knew the guys that came from here, people like that.
Did you realize how close it is to Hampton and Norfolk in that area?
That I did not. I thought it was about 4 or 5 hours. It's about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's no time.
Yes, sir.
So during the process, Justin, you've touched on this a little bit, but just talk about, where Coach Houston and where Coach Shanks see you fitting in, within the offensive line, making that jump up in terms of, guard or and tackle, and just as far as also how you would describe yourself. You talk about the physicality and the run blocking, but how would you grade yourself out as a pass blocker?
Okay. Well, I'm a guard. I can play tackle, but my main position is guard. I played right guard my 3 years starting, so I played right guard. So if I had a position that I would like my favorite, I would say right guard. And pass blocking, I'm good at pass blocking too. I like to be physical in the pass game too. I like to attack the defensive lineman before he can attack me. It's like controlled aggression. So still aggressive, but just control it a little more. So I feel like I'm pretty good in the pass game too.
Justin, we open up things. First game of the year is against NC State. You get a chance to take on a so-called Power 5 opponent from the ACC, and it's a rivalry game. Is that something that the coaching staff has talked to you about at all to key you in on how big that rivalry is?
Yeah, that's the only thing they told me, how big a rivalry it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be it'll probably be coming from Norfolk State. I don't know what the biggest crowd you played in front of is, but it'll probably be 50,000 there when we open the season against State.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it wasn't 50,000. It wasn't nowhere close to that.
Now, Norfolk State, you guys played at Old Dominion, correct?
I played at Old Dominion. I played at Toledo. I played at Wake Forest.
Okay.
Those are probably some of the bigger places I played. Yeah, I played at. Those probably were the 3.
You guys almost if I'm thinking of the game a couple years ago, you guys almost upset ODU, didn't you?
Yeah, we lost 24-21, first game of the season.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yes, sir.
So what are you most looking forward to about coming to East Carolina, besides the obvious stepping on the field and proving yourself at this level? What else are you looking forward to about being a Pirate?
Just my teammates, all the love that I got from the official visits and me coming down here doing some of the spring practices. Just my teammates. They're a great group of guys, and I just can't wait to get here and fight with them, compete with them, and go after this championship ultimately.
Now, Isaiah said the same thing. I'm glad to hear that it must be the goal right now amongst the team is to win the American. So is that the talk? Is trying to bring home a conference championship this year?
I mean, when you're competing, I hope that you're competing to win. So
Absolutely.
that's just our mindset. I mean, we want to win. We expect to win, but we're going to work hard to win.
Now, Justin, when you were in Greenville and getting to know those in and with within and around the program, excuse me, just did you get a chance to know Rajay and Keaton at all?
Yeah, Rajay was my host was actually Noah. I know Noah the most. I was with Noah, but actually we chilled with Rajay that same night. I didn't meet Keaton till probably about 3-4 weeks ago. But most of the guys that followed me on Instagram reached out to me, had conversation with me, stuff like that. So, like I said, it just made me feel like family.
It's good to hear. What are some things Pirate Nation should know about you off the football field? What are some of your interests? What do you like to do for fun?
I love music. I play the video game. Besides that, all I really do is work out. That's about it. I don't really go out
What kind
too
of music
much.
are you into? What kind of music are you into?
Music, rap, yeah, that's all I really listen to.
Okay, like do you listen to current artists? You go any old school?
Nah, I like everything now. I don't really like that old school stuff.
Oh, who's your favorite right now? Give me your top three right now.
My top three right now is Lil Durk, Lil Baby, and NBA YoungBoy.
I knew you were gonna say Lil Baby. Everybody says Lil Baby.
Yes, sir.
I
Yeah, he
guess
the
so.
one.
Why don't you like no old school hip hop?
I mean, I know about it. It just I don't know. It's just so different. Like music has changed so much.
Definitely. But you gotta honor the past, or those guys wouldn't be where they are now.
That's a
Well, without
fact.
guys like Snoop and Dre and
Yep.
man, yeah. Tupac. When I say two, you say Pac.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, who are some NFL offensive linemen or two that you maybe pattern your game after, or ones that
Um.
you maybe just watching film. You can obviously learn something from anybody you
Anybody. Right.
watch, good or bad, but just maybe a favorite lineman or two.
Yeah. I don't really compare myself to nobody, but my two favorite offensive linemen is no question Quentin Nelson and Zach Martin.
Now, who did you grow up? We talked about who patterned your game after, who your favorite offensive lineman is. But growing up in the Hampton area, did you grow up a Hokie fan, or did you grow up a UVA fan, or did you have a team you rooted for growing up?
I was definitely a Virginia Tech fan, diehard Virginia Tech fan. I'm talking about towels, posters, all in my room, everything. I was a diehard Tech fan.
Okay, so you got to be familiar with East Carolina. Then I'm trying to. It all blends together to me. It seems like 2015 was just yesterday. How old were you in 2015?
2015, I was probably trying to think 2022. So
That's
that was
7 years ago.
I was about 15, 16.
Okay, do you remember when the last time East Carolina upset Virginia Tech?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. You had to be familiar with the Pirates from some of their wins over the Hokies.
Right. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
He's trying to get that name James Summers out of his mind. No, that was certainly a very memorable day at Dowdy Ficklin. It was one of the last positive memories that we had, with the exception of that 2016 NC State game. But fortunately, the good times are back, and we're definitely looking forward to making a lot more positive memories this year, and definitely think that or know that we can contend in the American. We're so close a season ago, and this program's made so many strides under Coach Houston. Very excited to have you in the purple and gold. And, what are some of the biggest things that you're looking forward to, but, besides probably just getting Greenville and getting things underway? I'm sure you've seen videos of the game day atmosphere. Kyle mentioned that season opening game on September 3rd against NC State, and just everything that East Carolina football game day entails.
I'm sorry, sir. I couldn't hear like the end of your question. It kind of like started skipping.
Yeah, I just said, what are besides the obvious in terms of just getting to Greenville and getting started working out with your teammates in May and with that first summer session, just talk about what you're really looking forward to as far as like playing in front of Pirate Nation with a packed house of 50,000+ at Dowdy Ficklen.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to play at Dowdy. Like I said, I've never played in the crowd like that consistently, so I can't wait.
What's obviously you want to win them all, and NC State's up first, but game number 2 is ODU. You being from Hampton, you playing at Norfolk State, getting to play ODU the second game of the year has got to mean something to you.
Absolutely, that's home. I'll probably have 150 people at that game.
So that's one. Would that be one if you had to circle one this year that you obviously you want to win them all?
I want to win them all.
Yeah. Well, I hope that happens. That'd be great. 12-0.
Me too.
12-0 sounds pretty damn good.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. That's one of the positives, obviously, on Kyle. When you can bring in guys like Justin or guys from Eastern North Carolina, South Carolina that are within that 3-4 hour, maybe 5 hour radius where they can make that drive. It's a much easier drive than it once was with the way roads have improved. That's one of the benefits of recruiting local talent.
Yeah, no doubt, and I do look at the Norfolk, Virginia Beach, as we call it down here. Justin, you might not have ever heard this very much, but if you're my age and you grew up in Eastern North Carolina, we call the area you're from Tidewater, Virginia. You ever heard that? I
have heard that before. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so everybody calls it Tidewater, Virginia, and I consider that local. ODU didn't, they haven't been playing FBS football long, and so for years, even though I think most people in that area would identify Virginia Tech or UVA as the home team up until ODU started playing, we were the closest FBS program to that Tidewater area. Right. And so that I still look at that as our backyard, an area that we need to be recruiting more and we do recruit it. We need to be getting more players out of the area, out of high school even.
Yes, sir.
Bub, you got anything else? There, it sounds like he's having some technical difficulties. So I'll wrap it up.
Right. Okay.
Anything else you want to say, Justin?
No, that's it. Just thank you. Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. And we will get you a link to this just as soon as we get it out. Can't wait to have you in Greenville. And looking forward to big things out of you for the 2022 football season. All MEAC to all AAC.
Yes, sir. Go Pirates.
Go Pirates.